Who are you with?
With my uncle.
Is that your uncle? What's his name?
Raised inside a world shaped by gangs, prison sentences, poverty, and non-stop danger, Lil Durk did not grow up in a normal household. His family history was deeply tied to Chicago's street culture, where survival depended on power, loyalty, and fear. Durk's story begins long before music. It starts with his family.
They said, listen, don't nobody know that we got you right now.
His father, Dante Big Durk Banks Sr., was a powerful and feared figure in Chicago's street world. He ran a massive crack cocaine operation that controlled large parts of the South Side. His name carried influence, fear, and respect, making him a central figure in local gang activity.
So soon as I was walking up the stairs to go through the doors, the feds was coming out the door and they grabbed me right then and there.
Big Durk was eventually arrested by federal authorities and charged with running a large-scale drug network tied to organized street gangs. During police raids, investigators reportedly recovered over $1 million in cash and nearly 10 kilograms of cocaine. The evidence painted a picture of a criminal empire that operated at the highest level. In court, Big Durk received a life sentence, later reduced to more than 20 years in federal prison. His incarceration removed him completely from his children's lives and shattered the family structure overnight. Without their father, the family lost protection, income, and leadership.
My mother, who we love dearly, me and my brothers and sisters, she had 10 children, 7 boys and 3 girls.
Durk Derek Banks was born on October 19, 1992, and raised in Englewood, one of Chicago's most violent and dangerous neighborhoods. Englewood was shaped by poverty, gang control, and non-stop shootings. Safety was rare, and fear became a part of daily life. Children grew up learning street rules before school lessons. Gunfire replaced silence, police sirens replaced calm, and memorial walls replaced playgrounds. For families living there, danger was not something that might happen. It was something expected.
It has a lot of things that I went through as a child, growing up on the South Side. It wasn't bad as people think it is, you know. We have just different situations. We still have the gangs.
Durk's mother, LaShonda Woodard, known as Mama Smirk, became the emotional backbone of the family. With Durk imprisoned, she raised the children alone while struggling to survive financially. At one point, as many as 10 family members lived together in a small 3-bedroom apartment, sharing tight space and limited resources. Food shortages were common, electricity shutoffs happened often, eviction threats loomed constantly. Still, Woodard worked tirelessly to keep her children safe, fed, and focused, even when the odds were against her. The family's home, known by the address 7220 South Halsted Street, became a powerful symbol of their struggles. It was the place where Durk and his siblings grew up, learned survival, and built resilience. Years later, Woodard would name her memoir 7220, while Durk later honored that same address by naming his chart-topping album after it, turning pain into legacy. Woodard raised 4 children, including Durk, his brother Dante D-Thang Banks Jr., and 2 daughters. Her role went beyond providing basic needs. She became a protector, guide, and emotional anchor, constantly pushing her children away from the streets and towards something better.
The reality of it is, I can't accept it right now. And it's still kind of hard for me to acknowledge that, like, okay, I can't FaceTime him anymore.
As Durk began showing signs of drifting into street life, his mother encouraged him to move, change environments, and focus on music. That push became one of the most important turning points of his life. While Durk was navigating his youth, his older brother D-Thang played a major role inside the family. D-Thang was deeply connected to Chicago's street culture, carrying both respect and danger wherever he went. He operated in the same violent environment that once surrounded their father, becoming both a protector and a target.
Linger for a second, baby, Leo, best impression. This little bitch a groupie want me down my necklace.
Within the family, D-Thang was seen as a leader and defender. On the streets, his name carried weight, but that influence also placed him directly in harm's way. In June 2021, tragedy struck again. D-Thang was shot and killed outside a nightclub in Chicago. His murder devastated the entire family, reopening old wounds that had never healed. For Durk, losing his brother felt like losing the last strong male connection he had. For his mother, it meant burying a second son. The pain shattered what little emotional safety the family had left. This loss added to a growing list of grief that had followed the family for decades. Friends, relatives, and loved ones continued to fall victim to Chicago's cycle of violence, reinforcing the reality that survival was never guaranteed. Durk's music slowly became a reflection of that pain. His lyrics spoke about fear, exhaustion, heartbreak, and emotional isolation. His songs were shaped by real funerals, real hospital visits, and real loss. But behind the artist stood a family that had already endured more tragedy than most could survive.
Durk's cousin Newski, okay, aka OTF Nunu, okay, he would have been 33 years old in the last week. Obviously, he passed away quite some time ago, but the federal authorities have come down on a gang known as Face World 079, one of Chicago's most dangerous sets.
One of the deepest emotional blows came earlier, in 2014, when Durk's cousin and close collaborator, OTF Newski, was murdered. Newski had been more than family. He was Durk's closest friend and musical partner, sharing dreams of success and escape. His death shook the entire family, once again reminding them how fragile life was in their world. For Durk, this loss triggered deep depression, emotional shutdown, and growing paranoia. As Durk's fame grew, his family faced increasing attention from both rivals and law enforcement. Police surveillance followed his movements, while street threats multiplied. Home invasions, shooting attempts, and violent confrontations became part of daily reality, keeping the entire family in constant fear. Success did not bring safety, it brought exposure. Every milestone raised the danger level, making protection, loyalty, and trust matters of survival rather than comfort.
And he'll tell me something so that I could just shut up. And he'd be like, okay, Mom, well, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I tell him just to change up your lyrics, do something different. Nobody wants to hear about someone's child that, passed away.
Throughout all of this, Mama Smirk remained the emotional center of the family. After decades of struggle, she transformed her pain into purpose, becoming an author, community leader, and mental health advocate. In 2020, she founded Wu's Helping Hand, a non-profit organization that provides clothing, food, and essential supplies to families in the Chicagoland area. Her mission became helping others survive the same hardships she once faced. She also spoke openly about surviving sexual assault, depression, and anxiety, encouraging open conversations about trauma and healing in communities often forced to suffer in silence. Her strength became the emotional foundation that allowed Durk and his siblings to survive. When Big Durk was finally released after nearly 2 decades in prison, the reunion with his family was emotional and complex. A father returned to children who had grown into adults shaped by struggle, pain, and survival instincts.
Into a car and shot me down there on Van Bruin to the federal court building. They put me in this interrogation room, and there was a couple of agents in there.
His family history forced him into permanent caution. His trauma shaped how he viewed the world, and his losses decided how deeply he could ever trust again. And that is why his story cannot be understood simply as musical success. Because for many kids growing up where Durk did, making it to adulthood is the real victory. Everything else is secondary.